Will John be more open about what's going on and be more communicative? He's very clammed up. Will he open up more? Brilliant question. And of course, we looked into this a little bit before, so I know where we're going with it. There's a little bit more here, but of course, to protect your privacy, I won't read all of it out. So let's have a look and just see where we're going. Because I know when we looked at it before, it's his whole communication is, to say it's rubbish is an understatement as such. Because there's something here going on where he's not being 100% honest. But I don't feel it's anything bad as such. But let's have a look anyway. So let's see where we go. Okay. So there's definitely something here to do with what feels very much like there's a financial aspect here. And of course I can't really go into any proper finances here. But again, you know what I'm talking about because we talked about that situation as such before. And it just feels to me that he's trying to kind of like make things happen and it's not really working out for him. And rather than actually being completely open and honest about the fact that things are not going quite the way that he hopes, he's kind of like holding back. You will find from what I'm getting here is that there's a little bit of him trying to make out that things are better than they are. Because what I'm getting here is I'm getting a sense of, I think, if I remember right, I did kind of like mention it. It felt a little bit as if he's kind of like bragging in a way, kind of like trying to make things seem like that they're in a better position than what they are. Now, I don't feel that it's anything that he's like in a bad position or that there's anything you need to be concerned about. But he's definitely holding back on sharing his vulnerable side with you as such, because what I'm getting here is that because he knows you can read him like a book and he knows that that you are someone who's very smart and you don't, I mean, we talked about it before, you don't take any BS, you really are straight to the point, and if something isn't right, you'd rather have someone tell you it isn't right than it kind of like just him trying to tell you, for example, yeah, all is fine, and then he's struggling behind your back. And I don't see that he's actually struggling as such, so that's a good thing. I do feel that things are slightly more challenging for him excuse me, than what he would like it to be. But it just feels generally that I would say the best way I can put it is I do see that he's definitely going through a time in the moment of change, of things being very different. But I also see that that everything looks a lot more clear for him on some level. He's definitely feeling that the thing that you two have is definitely something that he would like to see where it can go and to progress from here. So it all looks very good from what I'm seeing here. Excuse me, my allergies are really bad. But yeah, it's really about you being really focused on the future now, not on what has happened in the past. The reason why I'm saying that is because you have been through quite a lot, and I know you have, and we talked about that partly before. But it's very hard to then kind of like, once you've been burned like that, to fully let go and let someone in. And because he's kind of like a bit clammed up, I mean, you said he's clammed up like a muscle, and it's kind of like a really great way to put it, because that's what I'm seeing is here. I'm seeing him being really kind of like very closed off, not really giving an awful lot. And it's not necessarily that that's naturally him, but that's just how he's dealing with things at the moment. But yeah, looking at the cards here, it does look to me that there will definitely be some better communication here, and also some good news coming. I do feel that he's getting to a point where things are actually getting good for him. And that's why I said I'm getting here a bit of I don't really feel like he's bragging, but I just feel a sense of him just being really happy with what he achieved and where he's come from and where he's going to. And he just kind of like wants to share that with you. So just be aware of that. But I do feel that the key really right now is to make sure that you just let him basically come to you and let him kind of like show you where he's at. Let's see if there's anything else coming here. Okay, now that's actually quite good. So let's focus on this card. The Wheel of Fortune. It really is when things starting to change, and that's what I've been saying here, that it looks to me that there's a change coming, that things are starting to be different and things starting to improve, and things are starting to feel like you're back in control a little bit more with that situation with him. So the fact that this card came up now and the whole way the energy feels tells me that you and him will definitely be in a very good place, and things will actually start to feel right and feel good. The key really is to just take things very slowly. Don't rush things. I know you don't anyway, but just kind of like when you notice that he's starting to feel a little bit more confident about what he's achieved and where he's going at, you will notice that he's starting to talk a lot more about it all. Just let him do that, because he's kind of like excited. And it's like, I know that when we said about the whole, because we looked into that before, and I did feel that he would kind of like, it's kind of like trying to show off a little bit. In a way, I would say let him do that, because it's very important for him to just feel like he achieved something, because he's been going through a period of time where he just felt like whatever he tried to do, nothing really worked quite out the way he wanted to. And it's important that he just starts realizing that you actually just like him for who he is and not for who he thinks you want him to be. And I know that's something that you know already anyway, but just kind of like, in a way, reassure him that you're not looking for him to be any other than him being him. For yourself, one thing I would like to say is do try and make sure that you actually start being a little bit kinder to yourself, because I have seen in your energy, and like you sent that photo, the little video clip, and I can see the kind of like giving energy within yourself and the amount of good energy you're giving out, and it feels so often that you're not getting an awful lot back. And it just feels to me that it's very important that you do kind of like make sure you put yourself first a little bit. This is a very important time in your life, because there are going to be quite a few changes coming up. Make sure that you don't end up draining yourself too much before you get to the point where it just feels really good and exciting. I would suggest a couple of crystals. Blue is the important color for you right now. So let's, yeah, okay. Lapis lazuli, it's really good for you right now. It is a very good stone for not just you feeling more balanced and more opening up your communication, because blue is very good for communication generally. So when you and John start getting a little bit more on the track of actually talking more about what's going on, this will actually help you. But it's lapis lazuli is also very good for a general feeling of things moving forward in the right direction. It has like little bits of gold in it as such, which are all about like abundance. It's about moving things forward. So it's a very good, abundant and good communication stone for you. So I would really suggest you have one near you. If you have one already, try to have it closer towards, I would say, more in the bedroom area, like, because that's where you kind of like recharge overnight. So make sure that you use that stone to really let your soul be recharged by positivity and things moving forward. The other one, blue lace agate, it has pretty much the same properties as most agate has, which is very good for healing and balance and everything. But the blue lace one itself is very much about communication. It's about self-belief, it's about self-trust, it's about healing, and you just saying what you want and who you are, and just being totally honest with you and what it is that is important to you. So those two stones, I would say, have them. The blue lace agate, I would have more in a living room situation where you spend most of your time, like if you can have maybe on your work desk or somewhere like that, where it just kind of like gives you the, when you need to talk to people and everything, that you have something there that actually helps you to really express how you feel. So those two, I would say, are very good for you right now. But apart from that, do make sure that you really put yourself first a little bit more, and stop trying to be always there for everyone else, and try to be the person that is always the shoulder to cry on. Sometimes let someone else to be the shoulder to cry on, because sometimes even you need some support. I know that you have this image of this kind of like feeling as if you like nothing can really get to you, nothing can penetrate you, but I know better and you know better, you still need the support. You still need someone sometimes to be there for you and actually just be there and say like, you know what, everything is going to be okay, and you actually deserve the happiness and the love as well. And just kind of give the self-love to yourself at the moment. Really start saying to yourself, you know what, I love myself and I'm special, and I will not let anyone or anything keep draining me the way it has done. I'm putting myself first. So I hope that helps a little bit, and thanks. So this is for Eve. Anything that comes up. Let's have a look. So anything that comes up, let's just... I mean, as soon as I'm linking in with your energy, I'm instantly already getting the warmth that is coming from you. So that's a very good start. Let's have a look. So, where are we going here? I love using those cards. They're not the easiest ones to shuffle and everything, but they do give very good readings. So let's have a look. Where are we going? Okay, so... Okay, let's get started. So there are a few things here. The first thing is, I do feel that you have the tendency sometimes to overwork and overdo things, and I do feel that you're not always the most balanced person as such, because I'm seeing that, like with your energy, that it's not the most... It's you... Okay, how can I put it? You are very grounded generally. You have a very good leveled head. But I do feel that sometimes you just take on so much, and you try to do different things and not really prioritizing yourself. So basically what I'm trying to say is, it feels to me that you keep putting yourself out, and you keep trying to be the person that you feel everyone wants you to be, but you seem to forget the person that you are. What I mean with that is that over the last few years, I do see that there has been a lot of hurt. I see that there has been a lot of disappointment, and I do see that there has been a lot of times where you just felt in a way as if you weren't seen. If that makes sense. Kind of like, I don't want to say like you felt invisible at times, but it feels as if have been many times when you just wondered, what is it that I should be doing, because I feel like whatever I'm doing is not really making me as satisfied as I believe I want to be or should be. And that's the thing, it's like, it's not that you should have done anything different, or it's not that you've done anything wrong, excuse me, or anything like that. It's just a case of you needing to kind of like find yourself. And I do feel that you have this tendency of like, you don't want to come across as if you're selfish, or if you're like not caring about anyone else, and that sometimes holds you back from you being you. I do see what looks like that there's some kind of a move on the cards here, and it looks to me that this is seems to be connected to... It feels very much as if it's connected to some kind of like a career energy. Now, so sometimes when I'm seeing a move, and also it's something to do with career around the same time, that sometimes indicates that the move is not necessarily a location move, but a move in like one's, like if you change, for example, jobs or careers or whatever, it then has a very different feel. You kind of like come home at different times potentially, and all these kind of things. So the whole home energy feels different. However, with you, it just feels as if there's a little bit of both. It feels to me that you feel a little bit stagnant with how things are at the moment. It feels to me that things have just been very stagnant. Everything feels a little bit as if you're not really finding a way of moving forward, of kind of like moving into the direction that you want to do. And it just feels to me that things are going a bit... How can I put it? It feels to me as things are... Okay, thank you. So basically what I'm getting from your guides really is that they're saying that it really is a case of you feeling lost at times. You're just feeling like you... If most friends would see you, they would think that you really know what you want and you are very well sorted. Your best friends will know that that is not necessarily the case, but to the outside world, you will look a lot of the time as if you really know where you're going and everything is kind of like very much sorted out and you're in a good place. But inside, it's kind of like, the best way I can put it is like, I'm seeing your energy a little bit of like a swan. You're just like, to the outside, everything just looks, anyone who would just meet you would just see this warm, open person that seems to be very much like got everything under control. But then you look slightly deeper and you see your feet kind of like with a swan, the feet are kind of like flapping around, and not saying you're flapping around or anything, but it's just like, it feels to me that you sometimes are finding it a lot harder to deal with things than you let on. And it's important that you actually try not to do that, that you actually, when things are getting a bit too stressful, when things are getting a bit too much, do try and say something. But I do feel that it looks to me that with your career situation, I do feel that, I mean, I said it before at times when I'm speaking to people, I'm getting a feeling of your value is not as fully appreciated as it should be. It's kind of like, it feels to me that the people that are around you, that there are certain things where you kind of like, everyone knows what you can do and what you're capable of, but it's kind of like people are holding back of actually showing to you that they actually appreciate you, if that makes sense. Not all of them. I do feel that you have some really amazing friends around you, and I feel that there's a certain family aspect as well, and that's all good. So I'm not saying that all people around you are not really appreciating you or not really showing you their appreciation, but I do feel that when it comes to your career energy, I do feel you're feeling slightly undervalued, to say the least. So I do feel that is definitely something that might need looking at. And I do feel that it's something here also connected to some kind of move, to some kind of like change in location. It feels very much like a location move. It could sometimes be when we redecorate a home, it feels different. It sometimes gives me the feeling as if there's a change, because there is a change. The house will feel very different. But it feels to me very much like there's some kind of location energy here. It's just, yeah, it's just about balance and moving forward. I would say it looks to me that things are definitely changing for you and things are being much more on the right track. There are a couple of things I would really suggest, because I do feel that your inner self is not always fully at peace and you're feeling quite a lot of struggle. I would suggest getting some flower agate, or sakura agate. It can be called as well. I got a little frog here. It's basically that will help you with finding some inner peace again, some inner calm, feeling a little bit more in control of your own life as such, because I do feel that is something that's very important. The other one I would suggest is moss agate. I got a little heart here. It's very much a stone that is very good for finding our inner self, our inner calmness again, our inner peace, and also to start believing in ourselves a little more, because that's one thing I feel with you at times is you do not fully believe in yourself, full stop. It feels very much that at times you're kind of like letting your self-doubt come to the forefront more and putting yourself down. So it's not even that other people are there to put you down. It's like you're finding ways of kind of like making it seem like you're not good enough, and that's important that you kind of like find a way of trying to stop that as much as you can, because this is not good for you. So those two stones should actually help you with feeling a lot more balanced, a lot more calm, and start to really believe in yourself again. And that's a very important thing, because I can see you have a very amazing energy. You're an amazing woman, and it's important that you really start believing in that a little bit more, because yes, things have happened to doubt that, to make you feel like maybe I'm not as good as I think I am, all these kind of things. Do try and find a way of actually breaking out of that habit to not have that kind of feeling around you, and you will find that over the next few months you will start feeling stronger and more yourself again, because you have a lot going for you. So start seeing that yourself. I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you. Hi, okay, so I got a few questions here, so I will go one by one and just go from there. What were her reasons, and should I blame myself? Perfect question. Let's have a look at where we're going with this. Oops, a jumper. So let's see where we're going. Okay, so firstly, no, you shouldn't blame yourself. That's very clear. The thing here with all of this is sometimes certain connections, certain communications are broken throughout periods of time because it's not always meant to be happening a certain way. What I mean is like I do feel that the two of you have got something there, and that I don't feel this is completely over, because it feels to me that there's more to come still. However, it also feels to me that things got quite intense and things got a little bit on top of, you both have got on top of each other, and things got quite stressful as such. And it's very important that you find a way of kind of like stepping back and letting things be for now. I know it's easy for me to say that because I'm not in your situation as such, but it's very important that you actually find a way of stepping back and just saying to yourself, okay, yes, I really would like this to work out, but I understand that in order for it to work out, I have to step back and I have to actually start being in my own space again. I need to be happy with myself, because what I'm getting here on slightly is that there's a sense of you kind of like looking for her to make you happy. And that's a very dangerous situation to be in, because you're then putting a lot of energy towards her of like, if I can't be with her, then I can't be happy. If I can't do this, then that. And it's like, that's not a good place to be in. It needs to be like that you're coming together on an equal footing, that you're feeling content and happy within yourself, so that when you're actually together, that it actually feels good, that it feels like an equal kind of relationship. So I do feel her reasons were very much that things just got too intense, that things got too much, and it just felt a little bit overwhelming. And the thing to do right now is to really do nothing and step away. Give her some space, because I do feel that she is really in need of some space to figure out where she's at and what she wants to achieve. And what I'm getting here in the cards is very much, it shows me that we are really in a position where things can actually start moving on from here. But in order for that to happen, it's important that you really start realizing that you are good enough as you are. Because what you try to do is you try to change for her. You try to kind of like, I'm not trying to say you try to manipulate the situation, because you didn't, but it's kind of like, it felt like you tried to mold yourself into who you thought she wanted you to be, and that's not a good place to be in. So right now, in a way, it's good that things have kind of like broken off, because it needs this kind of like, if you want this to work, it needs a fresh start. It needs not a recoupling, it needs a point of like you two starting to really get to know each other again, how you are now, not how you feel that you could have been. So it's like, it needs time, it needs you to really start feeling yourself again and start feeling back in control. Your next question is, will we ever talk again, and roughly when? I definitely feel that you will talk again, but it really is about creating the distance right now. So let's have a double check. Okay, so actually let's leave it there, because interestingly enough, both cards I pulled both had the number 8. That tells me that the 8 is significant in this year. So 8, with timing, because Spirit doesn't have timing the same way we do, we have to go by interpretations and by kind of like what stands out. The fact that the 8 came up would indicate that we're either talking 8 weeks, 8 days, or the 8th month. Now, I honestly don't feel we're looking at 8 months, so I didn't even go there. 8 weeks, it doesn't feel right either. 8 days is also doesn't feel right. So that would indicate to me that we're looking at the 8th month, so August, which also feels very much in line with what I'm seeing, because as I'm looking at this whole situation, I'm just feeling like I'm feeling the warmth of August here. And for me, August is always a very warm, very special month. It feels like everything is feeling good, and the best way I can put it, for me, August is always a very positive and very summery month, and that's kind of what I'm feeling. Is I'm feeling that energy here. So I would say yes, you will, and I would say I would put it towards August, but do try to make sure that you get a little bit of distance between you and her right now, because it needs to kind of like the communication when it starts needs to be fresh and needs to be a new beginning as such. Let's have a look at your last question. Does she regret and miss me? And will I find happiness soon? How long am I going to feel that way? Okay. I can already tell that she is missing you. I wouldn't say that she's necessarily regretting it yet, because I don't feel that she's feeling that it was the wrong decision as such, but she felt it was the right decision at the time, and therefore she wouldn't necessarily regret it, because to her it feels like it was the right thing to do. It was the thing that she should have done. Yeah, when I'm looking at your happiness, I definitely see that there's happiness around you, and it feels to me that things are definitely going to be good for you and a lot stronger. It's important that you really start feeling, it's important that you start putting yourself at the front stage again, because it's you basically, you've been putting a lot of your energy and effort into her and trying to make her happy and trying to make things work with her, and it's kind of like being very distant and things haven't really been flowing the way they should have done. So it's about you stepping back and you really saying to yourself that the key for right now is to you being happy again, and actually you starting to work on you. If you start now to really put your effort back into you and into your energy, I would say by the end of the year at the latest, you will be in a very good position, because I do see happiness around you, and I do see you being a lot happier and balanced. So I would say really work on yourself right now, really start being the person that you want to be and you know you can be, and put her to one side for now, because there's nothing you can do at this point. You can't make her kind of like change your mind by you changing or anything. She has to come to what she wants to do in her own time, and therefore it's about you putting your effort back into you and you really putting yourself front now. And you should find that within the next few months things will start feeling a lot better, a lot easier, and you will be in a much better place by the end of the year, as I do see a lot of happiness and a lot of love and laughter around you again. So I hope that helped a little bit. Thank you. Will I set up my own business in the near future? Will I be successful? Let's start with that, and we look at the house straight after. Oops. Let's put those ones out because they were starting to jump, so there's always a significance, as you know. So let's see where we go. Okay, so now this, to me, when I see this card, it very much tells me about things progressing and things moving forward. So the fact that you asked about will you start your own business, that tells me yes. And that one tells me as long as you make sure that you have balance between your work life and your personal life, then yes, you will be successful. So those two already kind of like answered the question, but I wanted to go further. So, I mean, interestingly enough, those two were the jumpers, so they kind of like answered the question even without me looking. But yeah, it's really important that you start looking at ways of really, how can I put it? It's important that you start looking at what it is you want, not what it is you feel you should be wanting. I know that sounds a bit convoluted, but what I'm trying to say is it's about you really putting your dreams and desires ahead of your fears. And I know it's easier said than done, and I know we talked a lot about what's going on, so I know that these things are not that easy for you. And so I'm not trying to say to you like, oh yeah, you will be fine, it will be all easy and everything will just flow and be really smooth. No, it's not. There will be success, but you do have to find the balance between your career and your home life and your personal life and your health. Because it's important that you try not to overdo things, that you try not to do too much and then kind of like get worn out and burned out, because that's something that, from what we talked about, we know that you can get burned out very quickly and very easily, and I don't want that for you. So just to make sure that I do see success here, but take it slowly. So yes, you will be setting up your own business from what I'm seeing here, and it's all about you actually having faith and trust in yourself, because you have basically everything within you to really make this happen, to really make things go from strength to strength. The key to it really is to make sure that you really put your dreams ahead of your fears. So let's have another look to see if anything on that level comes up that needs addressing. But so far it looks good. Okay, yeah. Now this card coming up, I mean, you with cards yourself, it's not always the most positive one, but it's also very fitting. It's about knowing your limits, knowing what is important for you. It's the thing is, it's like when we start a new business, it's so hard to sometimes stop in the evening, sometimes to stop doing all the work and working all the time, and it's about finding ways of getting more balance in when we start. And what I'm trying to say is, when you start this new business, which I do see starting, and make sure it's something very creative, because you do need to have a creative aspect, otherwise you will get bored very quickly. But I do see that as long as you can have a home, personal and work balance, you will be perfectly fine, because I do see that there's a lot happening here that really kind of like tells me you will be in a very successful, happy energy with it all, in like a relationship between you and your business and your family life. So it's like, it feels very positive, but just make sure you remember what your limits are and to not overdo things, because I know you have the tendency to do more than you really have the energy for. So as long as you keep check on that, I do see that you will be very successful, and I do see it's happening. I would say you will start something before middle of autumn. Middle of autumn is when I'm seeing here something starting to come together, even if it's just like you starting to put the idea more in place. But something here in, I would say around September, early October time is actually when I see certain things starting to really come together. And around October is when things will really start feeling like, okay, now I know where I'm going and what my next step is as such. Your next question is, will I move house in the near future? Let's have a look. Again, I know this is something that's very important for you, because there's nothing wrong with the energies of the house right now where you're in, but I know it's not really feeling like you. So let's have a look. Let's see where we're going. Okay. So none of those cards have given me any kind of like direct yes, but they're also not giving me a direct no. What that tells me though is that yes, but it's your choice. What I'm trying to say with that is that it's about you really starting to realize what it is that's really important. For example, do you need to have okay, let's go. Let's explain it this way. It's important that you work out what is the most important thing. Is it the location? Is it that it has a certain amount of rooms or a patio or a garden? What is it that is really important for you to really feel balanced? Because the thing is like, at the moment, like I said, there's nothing wrong with the place you're in, but I do feel that you're not really feeling that this feels 100% like you. It feels like there's something, you feel like there's something missing, and it just feels to me that it needs a change and it needs things to be different. And while the cards as such didn't show me that, I do see it like in your energy. I'm just seeing things moving forward. Let's put a few oracle cards down, because I got some very lovely ones here. You might recognize them. So let's see what they actually tell us here. Okay, again, like we said, it's about feelings. It's about you actually realizing what it is that's important to you. It's not about, when a card like this comes up, it's not about like you talking about your feelings, like what is it you need or whatever. It is that, but it's more about like what is really important to you to actually make you feel good, make you feel like this is the right place, this is really feeling like me. So it's about you putting yourself really in a place where you just know, okay, what is it that I need? Is it like, do I need to have a park nearby for my little babies, or do I need to be closer to the water again, or do I need to, what is it that actually calls out to you? What is it that makes you feel like, I'm missing this, I'm not having this right now, because something is missing at the moment, and that's why you're looking. So do make sure that it's something that actually feels right to you, and that's important. And actually the card here asks for help, and it's not always about asking others for help, it's sometimes also asking your guides for help, and that's what I'm feeling here. It's about you, when you start looking for what the places that you want to go to, just put it out to your guides and say, I don't really know exactly where I need to go, where I want to go, can you please guide me? And you will find that by doing so, by actually putting it a little bit into their hands as such, that you will then start noticing that things start opening up, and you start, it's something like you might get someone kind of like calling you up and saying, have you I know you're registered to be looking at places here, but have you considered this place? And that's kind of like the energy that I'm getting here. Let's put one more card, because they're beautiful, and why not? Well, perfect. I mean, that's the thing. I know your future is going to be amazing, because we talked about it before, we looked into your energy before, and I know it's that you have a lot to give and a lot to achieve still. And it's about you really starting to trust that this is something for you, and that is something that you actually deserve and want, and actually can make happen. It's about you really embracing what is important to you. So yeah, things are looking good. I do see that it's important that you really start being honest with yourself, and also that you try not to hold back from what you want because you don't want to hurt someone, or because you don't want to say something. We talked about that as well, and it's just make sure that you don't put yourself second, put yourself first. So crystals, I know you love your crystals, so a couple of crystals that I would recommend for you. Firstly, because of a lot of the things going on and having gone on in your life, obsidian is great. Silver sheen one, obsidian, it's Oleg, yeah, silver sheen one, and the gold sheen one is really good for you right now, to really kind of like put things away, kind of like move them away from you, and to really be, it's kind of like, it's a good crystal to block out a lot of negativity and negative energy, and really kind of like you being back in a position where it's just you being you. The other one, and that's one of my personal favorites, and I would never be anywhere without at least one of those ones close by, and that's the golden healer quartz. It's really a powerful crystal. It's kind of like, I would say, to me, it's the kind of like all-round healer, the all-round kind of like stone to have around, no matter what you've gone through. Having a piece of that, especially make sure it's a really good sourced one, and then you will find that the energy from it is just so strong, so special, that it just, I mean, I can feel it vibrating here as I'm just holding it. So it's a very good stone to really, for you to really start being in control of your life and heal from the inside out. So I hope that helped a little bit, and happy birthday, and speak to you soon. How's the rest of the year going for me? Okay, brilliant question. Let's have a look for you. I know that you're going through quite a few bits at the moment, so let's see what is coming up, anything that's standing out, and just take it from there. So, oops. Let's see, those ones wanted to jump out, so actually let's start with those ones. There's always a reason why they jump, so let's have a look. So, that actually makes quite a lot of sense, because I know of certain things that are going on around you and how things have been, and it just looks to me that this is all about you finding your inner strength and your inner balance again, you finding your own power again as such. You're starting to actually be more in control of things for yourself. And this is a very important time right now because it's about you putting yourself first. And I know that this is not something new. This is not something that I'm saying for the first time. It's about you not really giving your power away the same way you have done, because over the last few months at least, you have kind of like given part of your power away to, especially to a certain person, and we know who we're talking about, and it hasn't really always been fully appreciated. And from what we can see here as well in the cards, it's very much that it's been a case of you're trying your best to kind of like be there for him, but he hasn't really always been there for you. And I do feel that there's a real distance here at time. And I'm just getting a feeling of like, as soon as you step away as such, what you will find with him is that he's starting to come closer again. That's the best way I can put it. And so you kind of like think, oh, maybe I'm just reading it wrong, and maybe it's not really quite as bad as I think it is at times. And then soon after, he's kind of like just giving you something again where you just feel like, okay, I feel like I'm back at square one with all this. So what the cards are here saying is basically use the next few weeks, really, especially, to start putting yourself first and really start healing. Because I know that there's a certain thing that has gone on with you. As you know, I can't go into anything medical, but there's been certain things that have gone on where you just need to rest more and just start to heal a little bit more. Excuse me. And it's just about you making sure that it's about you right now. It's about you moving things forward. Talking about moving things forward, what I'm getting actually here from the feeling of the cards and also from your energy, because we worked before, there's definitely something that feels like some kind of a move or change in the just a change in the whole energy. It just feels to me that there is something here indicated that looks like a moving energy. Well, at least looking at this, how it feels, I have to be honest, it feels very much that it actually doesn't feel like a move, but a change in your environment. It just feels like there's some bigger changes here happening where it looks to me that something is happening here that makes it all feel very different. Let's put a few more cards down and I'll actually look at the crystal in a minute and just see if there's anything standing out. Okay. Yeah, this is very much it. Time coming up for you to start embracing happier times, start embracing more of yourself again, more of your own inner happiness, inner peace as such, and just really start looking at who you are as a person and actually making sure that you fully put yourself first. So I would say over the rest of the year, the main thing is to make sure that you actually spend time to heal yourself, not just the physical things, but also your emotional healing, because there has been so much that has dragged you down, that has hurt you, that has made you feel like things are not quite good enough at times for you. Well, not things are not good enough for you. It made you feel like you weren't good enough for certain people or whatever. And that's something you have to make sure you do not fall into the pattern of this again. And I'm saying again because I know this isn't the first time that you felt like that. So let's have a... Okay. Yeah, so what I'm getting here is as soon as I'm linking in with the crystal energy here, like I said, it feels to me like there's some change, some kind of like energetic feel here that's just moving. And normally that would indicate to me a location move, but I don't actually feel this is necessarily location move. It just feels that it's a change in the energy that would indicate to me that... Now, actually, I'm taking that back. It does feel like a location move, because every time I'm looking at it, it just feels to me that it's something here, because I'm just getting the vibration here on this side, and that tells me that we're moving in this direction. So it does indicate that there's location move here, and it does indicate to me that there's something here where you will feel happier and more balanced. And I'm also seeing here in the energy because as the vibration is raising here on this side, it also has a kind of like a red pinkish glow, and that tells me that we're looking at something here where there's a love energy connected to this as well. And yeah, I would say it looks to me that there's a move around you that is coming up here, I would say mid to late autumn time, and it looks to me that this is connected to being around someone or closer to someone else. And I have to be really honest, I actually feel this is potentially someone other than what we've been looking at before, because the energy feels different. Now, it could be that he's suddenly changed and is a much more open, much more caring person, but it just feels to me that there's someone new coming into your life that actually makes you feel very different, and makes you feel that it actually makes you feel more appreciated, more balanced. And yeah, the other thing that I'm getting here from the vibration itself is it just feels like a strength coming from that. This move brings with it a strength and a passion again. You just feel like there's more passion and more of an energetic change in the energy. So it's definitely something good for you. What I would suggest at the moment, because of what you've gone through, and it's kind of like a certain amount of healing needed. I've looked at this before, for your physical healing, I would suggest bloodstone. It's a very good, very healing stone. It has the energies in it are very much, they're calming your body and they're actually healing you from the inside out, but also really dealing with ailments and helping you to actually feel stronger and more in control. So that's definitely a stone that I would say for you right now, it's a good one to have and a good one to really carry on you as much as you can. Certain stones, I always say, like, keep them away from you because the energies are too intense, so they're not very good to carry on ourselves. Bloodstone, as long as you don't have anything too big, which of course makes it harder to carry around anyway, but something small, do have it on your body or in your purse or anything like that where it's close to you, and it will actually should help you to feel more balanced, to feel more in control, stronger again. Basically, that's what I want to say. The other thing, and that's one of my favorites, is howlite. You've gone through quite a lot of this little owl that I got here. You got through quite a lot of trauma. You got through quite a lot of being disappointed, being hurt, and being let down. And howlite is really good to help with that. And it's quite often used as like a grieving stone. But it has so many more uses. It's a very good calming stone. It's a very good stone to really help you feel grounded, stronger, balanced. It's kind of like, the best way I can put it is, it's an anti-sadness stone. That's the best way I can put it, and that's a good one to have. So I would say those two, the combination of those two, would really be very beneficial for you right now. If you already have them, do make sure you have it close on you, especially the bloodstone. Do have it on your body if you can. The howlite, it doesn't really matter where it is, as long as it's close to you. So if you spend most of your time like in your office or whatever, or in the living room, depends on where you spend most of your time, that's where you should have the howlite. If you kind of like, sometimes when we go through certain things, we have to spend more time, for example, in the bedroom or whatever, have it basically wherever you spend the most time at the moment. Have the stone there, because that's where the vibration will be the most beneficial to you. But yeah, those two, I would say, do try and have them on you at the moment, or close to you as much as you can, and you will find that it gives you strength and will give you the energy that you need to really move things forward the way you want to. Like I said, the rest of the year, it feels, the main thing that I'm seeing here is, it seems to me that there's some kind of move coming up and some kind of a new connection happening here that actually brings with it some exciting new chapter as such. I hope that helps a little bit, and thanks again.